Stardate 5902. I am supposed to be talking about my favorite author today, which is super easy, and I could go on for hours about this author, so let's just get into it. His name is Mitch Albom, and you may not know his name, but you may know a few of his books because he is a very big-time seller in the world of books. His books are very, very well known. I have 4 of his books. I don't have all of them. I have all of the ones that were released in the fashion that he writes now. He's originally a journalist, and he still, I believe, is a journalist to this day. He's a sports journalist, and he lives in Detroit, Michigan, which is weird. We'll be in the same city this weekend, so that's kind of exciting. I'd like to meet him one day. It'd be amazing to do that. He got into writing, and this is important. He got into writing. It's how his first book ended up being written. He got into writing because he found out that his professor was passing away from a very debilitating disease, and so he went to visit his professor on the same day that he always met his professor in college, which was on Tuesdays, and he recorded, being the journalist that he is, recorded their conversations so that he could keep them close and relive them after he passed away. And that eventually got compiled into the book Tuesdays with Maury. When I first heard about this book, I didn't expect it to be the heart-wrenching book that it was. But this tagline is so true: an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. This book makes you rethink life. It makes you rethink what you think of your life, and it makes you realize the mistakes that you make, and it makes you want to redo things. It's such a great book. It's so inspiring, really. It may not sound like it the way I'm explaining it, but it's so inspiring. The only thing that's weird about Mitch Albom, though, is he writes kind of in a very complicated manner. Like, his chapters are really simple. The second Tuesday, all of the chapters are each Tuesday that he goes to visit Maury. But then he has these in-between chapters that are never labeled, but you know when they are because you can see the chapter gap thing here, and then there's like this little thing here, but then they're always in italics, and they're always super short. But like, they're always memories as well, memories that he has of Maury, out of college, and quotes from Maury. Like, this one is, "It's my junior year, 1978, when disco and Rocky movies are the cultural rage. We are in an unusual sociology class at Brandis, something Maury calls group process." So it's basically just a memory that he has, where everything else is based on the recordings that he has of Maury speaking. And it's just a great book. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. It's so philosophical, so wonderful. If you like kind of that soul-wrenching, that heart-wrenching stuff, check it out. If you love things that make you think, this is definitely a book for you to read. It's so good. The second book I read was actually the first book I bought by Mitch Albom. I bought it because I heard wonderful things about it, but that is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. It's about a man named Eddie who dies in the first chapter, and you basically get to walk with him through his journeys into heaven by meeting 5 different people. And it's kind of surprising. You know, when I first read the synopsis of this, I was thinking, well, you know, it's going to be important people in his life because that's what it's supposed to be. But in all reality, there were some people that he didn't even know, or knew so very little that you would think that he would not have changed their lives, but he did. And it's just kind of a journey into that. And again, this is written in the same kind of way. You've got your chapters, which are the different people he meets in heaven. Few chapters on each, essentially, and then they're all based on lessons, because he's supposed to learn a lesson from each person. Then there's the in-between chapters that are always Eddie's birthdays. So today is Eddie's birthday, And they always start like that. Today is Eddie's birthday. And then it just, again, it's all in italics. And so you can know where it ends and where it starts, that kind of thing. So, but this is a really good book. Again, it just makes you, it makes you understand that the domino effect of life. You know, you do one thing and that can change so many people's lives, even if you don't realize it. And it's just such a great book. If you haven't read this one, check this one out too. The third book I've read, and the last book that I've read by him, is For One More Day, which is basically about the ability to spend one more day with a lost loved one that you miss a lot. And this is one of those books, again, that just makes you rethink so much. I was thought about my grandpa when I read this book. I kind of thought about what I would do if I could spend one more day with my grandfather. And this is just a great book. And this one's probably the most complicated out of all of them, because there really isn't much of a differentiating between the subchapter or the in-between chapters, except for every once in a while you'll see like these little pages and they're like letters and things like that. So great book. I also have a Little Faith, but I haven't read it yet. I plan on it. He's a really quick read, so it's probably not going to take me very long. But this one's probably the most religious out of all of them, as you can tell by the title. But it's also because he is talking to a rabbi and a preacher, a reverend, I believe. And I believe it has something, if I remember correctly, it has something to do with him having to write a eulogy for somebody who's still alive, mind you, but he has to write this eulogy. And this is kind of his journey into doing that. He does some research, things like that. So he's a fantastic writer. You really should check him out. He's so philosophical, so intelligent, and just so awesome. So check him out if you can. If you haven't, he's awesome. Now my question for David is, what do you not like to read? What is your least favorite thing to read? I know I tend to kind of go into the negative, don't I? That's weird. But what don't you like reading? For me, I don't like reading fantasy. I do like it in anime and I do like it in manga, but for some reason in books, I don't necessarily like it. Nor do I like it so much in movies either. Every once in a while I'll like it in books and in movies. Narnia is an example. I love Narnia. Matter of fact, C.S. Lewis used to be my favorite author until Mitch Albom entered my life. But yeah, for some reason, it's why I don't like Harry Potter. It's why I don't like Lord of the Rings. It's part of the reason I don't like Twilight. The other reason is that it's not written well. But what don't you like to read? Let me know, and I will see you guys next week, and David will see you tomorrow.